Hello and welcome to PJ's Media Reviews. Today, me and Sean are going to be talking about the Anchorman films. Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy, and Anchorman 2, The Legend Continues. And of course, that's a play on Kung Fu, The Legend Continues. Now, these are satirical comedies, very off the wall, very silly, very stupid. But the first one takes place in the 70s, and I think the second one takes place in 1980. Did you find these films as hilarious as they actually are in fact real life?
No,
What?
I
What?
didn't laugh.
You're joking? You're pulling my leg.
I am not. I am not kidding. And this is the reason why I wanted to watch these things. It's because I had vaguely seen kind of the first one a long time ago, and I didn't understand why it was funny. But then I had kept this thing in my mind. I was like, oh, I wasn't concentrating on the movie. And so these things are praised as like modern classics, like modern comedy classics,
Yeah.
by a lot of people, and even a lot of people whose content I enjoy, But I fail to see. I don't find them funny, which is strange because we both like What We Do in the Shadows and what have you. But there are certain lines by Steve Carell. Um,
I like carpet. I like lamp. Are you just
yeah,
naming things in the room?
I love Lamp. And he gets all emotional about it. I'm like, there are certain moments with him that really get me, but other than that, it's maybe I just don't get it.
See, I just love the cast, and I do think
Oh, everyone's great.
Will Ferrell, Christina Applegate, Paul Rudd, Steve Carell, uh, Dave Koechner. I can't remember how
I
to
think
pronounce
Will
his name.
Ferrell would be the only one that I'm not too keen on, but that's just because I'm not too fond of Will Ferrell, just generally speaking.
Yeah, Will Ferrell is hit and miss for me, and this is like his best. This is like his
Okay.
number one role for me. He's in a when his dog gets kicked off the bridge and he's in the phone booth and he can't speak because he's so fucked up.
That
And
was
he's
good.
like,
I like
"I'm in
that.
a glass case of emotion."
I like that line. He's just screaming at the phone. Bloody Paul Rudd, you have to say words.
Yeah,
Okay, that was good. But see, I have more fun talking about these movies than I have fun watching them.
yeah.
Um, Maybe they are group movies. Maybe you have to see them with a group and they have to joke about it and kind of rebound off the jokes that are going on screen. But yeah.
Uh, it where it's set in the '70s, it does deal a lot with like sexism
Hmm.
in a very blunt and like humorous way, and it does have like racial jokes throughout. Uh, Paul
The
Rudd talks
second, the
about
second one mostly.
yeah.
They leave the sexism behind in the second one and move on to like racial
Racial
issues.
humor, yeah. And Christina Applegate, who was like never around for a long time, like just shows up in this movie, and she does a really great job uh, at playing like the straight person, but also like that scene where he gets mad at her and he picks her up and throws her over a desk, and you're thinking, oh wow, that's pretty harsh, and then she gets right back up and just throws a typewriter straight at his head. So like it's all about like the woman the feminist movement of that time, and like kind of Ron Burgundy is the typical misogynist pig of that time, just like all of
Hmm.
his friends, right? And it's
Hmm.
all just played for laughs. And I suppose Steve Carell's character is probably like the most innocent of them all.
Well, yeah, you could argue that he doesn't really know. Like he has nothing against women. If we're talking about like the feminist movement, he has nothing against women. He's not sexist. He just follows what his friend says, but not because it's peer pressure or anything, or because he wants to be accepted. It's just because he's too dumb to know, right? Like
Yeah.
he has like a mental disability or a very low IQ. Is that it? Um,
Well, he
Both.
uses
I don't know.
he uses a certain term that I can't say. Yeah, he goes, technically, I'm mentally.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean,
And you gotta love the
he,
funeral scene in the second one where
he
he thinks
likes
he's dead.
he enjoys, what does he wear? He enjoys wearing pita bread as slippers or something because then he can eat them or some shit like that. So I mean, this gives you an idea of who the character is, right?
Yeah, he's so random. But in
Yeah,
the second one, the funeral scene, come on, like he's like, "No, you're alive.
I
It's
think
you, Brick. It's you."
what I like best, like for that scene, what I like best about it is not even the fact that he's too dumb to understand that he's not dead. It's the fact it's kind of like the ending of the joke. Like when all of the joke ends, the three other guys are just kind of like, I don't know. They kind of brush it off as like, oh, it's kind of crazy that he doesn't realize it. So they're kind of astonished that he doesn't realize he's not dead. But then they still brush it off as if it were, I mean, justifiable behavior. They're like, oh, it's kind of strange that he doesn't realize he's not dead. And then they just move on. It's like, what the fuck, guys? Come on.
Yeah, and they move on, and then they leave, and then you see the people at the service like really pissed off, like shaking their heads,
they,
like what the fuck.
they even call back to that later, where they're like saying, oh well, at the like near the end of the movie, like, oh, we trusted you. I was happy doing this. He was happy doing that. Brick was happy being dead last week. Um, and you brought us all in to do this one thing, and you let us down.
Um, I don't find this scene funny, but the scene between him and Kristen Wiig in the office, where like they're both acting really strange, and the boss can't understand what's going on. I don't find that particularly funny, but I find it sweet that little relationship of like these two
Yeah,
simpletons.
I like that. I like the way they. So there's that scene, but that comes a bit later. But the first one that we get is where she just doesn't answer the phone. She's just standing there. I was like, fucking hell, they have a they have another one of them. And it was good. I like the idea of having two of these characters where they can kind of build off each other. I think
Chris,
I like the things where it's like, I killed a man. He threw a trident
yeah, he
at
goes,
the guy on a horse.
you're probably going to be wanted for murder now.
You should try and hide out and find someone that can hide you or something.
Yeah, what did you think of the whole thing about the news guys led by Vince Vaughn as
That's
Wes
amazing.
Mantooth? How they circle around them on the bikes like little kids
That's great.
from an '80s movie.
They
Like
circle around them on the bikes, but it's also what they do in Lord of the Rings with the horses. In Middle Earth, be it the Hobbit or the Lord of the Rings movies, they're always circling people with horses, and it kind of reminded me of that. But
Yeah,
I don't know,
and
it's great. This is the see, I like Jack Black, but Jack Black's I think appearance isn't the best. I just love Ben Stiller and Vince Vaughn and how they come in and they're like these other news casts, and then they do the same thing in the second one. It's like Kanye West and everything.
oh yeah, in the first one they have what is it like? Tim Robbins shows up, Luke Wilson, Ben Stiller. I like the gag where Luke Wilson gets one arm chopped off, and then at the end of the movie, he's like, he gets the other one. He's like, "Oh, come on!" It's like, so stupid.
It's so obviously like it's not even well hidden. Like you can see his arm inside his jacket. Like they didn't even try to hide the fact that anyway.
Yeah, the
I
absurdity.
guess
The
I guess
absurdity of that
part
is
of the humor, isn't it?
yeah. He's like, and it's just so phony and fake, and then he's like, "Oh, come on!" Like he's not screaming in pain. He's just like, "Oh, again." But there's a Chris Parnell. He does a voice on Rick and Morty. He's also an ex cast member of SNL. He's a really good comedic actor,
Mm,
and he plays. He's in the first movie. I'm
okay.
pretty sure he's in the second one. But anyway, in the first movie, after the incident where Veronica puts the "Go fuck yourself, San Diego" on the teleprompter, and he says it, he doesn't even realize it. He like walks off the set and everything, and he's like, "Do to do to do." And anyway, Chris Parnell's character,
Why? Why
yeah,
would
he
you say
becomes
such a thing?
the way he's like, "Be putty, Mel, you be putty." He's like, I can't do it, but I mean, like he's that part really makes me laugh every time. Uh, yeah, I'm trying to think of other parts that I find absolutely hilarious in this movie that get me every time. Like, there's a lot of jokes I like the first time that or just
There are
like
things that I find, and I think it's part of I think the way this specific humor works is they kind of stick with the joke, and I suppose I don't know, it's almost as if they try to like they have it go on for so long that eventually you find it funny. Um,
Mm,
but
yeah.
like there are things like when he's playing the flute, I'm just watching the scene. I'm like, when is this thing gonna end? I don't find that kind of funny. Um,
Yeah, that's
th- that's the kind of thing, and I think a lot of the movie is that these aren't movies that I don't like. You know, to make that clear. I kind of sit there and watch them, and I'm they're not something that I actively hate or anything. It's just that I don't find them hilarious like other people seem to.
I like that little cameo we get from Danny Trejo as the bartender.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I actually looked at him twice. I was like, "Is that? Oh yeah, it is." I don't know the first like the moment he just pops up, I didn't really recognize him, but maybe it's because he doesn't have I don't know the usual
Seth
clothes or anything
Seth Rogen is also
in
in
the
the
first
first
one.
movie. Oh, and Fred Armisen has a little cameo as the owner of the club, the jazz club. And
Mm.
he's like, "Will you play jazz flute?" And he says this weird, like, off-putting line about how in my country, uh, they kill the young goat or something and slit its throat, and the blood drips down to the children. And Will Ferrell's like, "No, no, no, don't go there," or something like that. I can't describe it. I gotta find it and play it. I gotta have to find it. I'm sorry. I'll slow it down for Fred Armisen, Anchorman.
So these movies are written by Will Ferrell, aren't they? Well, at least co-written.
He written by Will Ferrell and Adam McKay.
Okay, I don't know who Adam McKay is, but
The coyote of the desert always likes to eat the heart of the young, where the blood drips down to the children for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and only the ribs will be broken in two. Dino. Well,
That sounds like a completely improvised, like, nonsense line, but it just works, man.
yeah, it's absolutely nonsensical.
Yeah.
It has no context whatsoever.
Uh, one of the best things that cracks me the fuck up every time. Like, we have different. I don't know what you think of when he goes blind in the second movie and he starts living in the lighthouse, and he's making a fire in the dishwasher, and oh, it's like it's classic.
I think I prefer the second one to the first one.
The second one's a little more drawn out, but it has
It's
some good.
longer, and I think that it would have deserved to not be 2 hours and like 20 minutes or something. Like I would have maybe cut 20 minutes out of that.
Yeah.
2 hours seems long enough. Champ is like basically openly a gay character at that point in the second one.
Oh,
He's
the
got
the guy
thing where
the guy who makes it. He makes
yeah,
bats.
he's
Fried bats.
he's clearly yeah. God. He's clearly gay, but it's kind of like he's clearly gay, but he won't admit it to him like himself.
Well, in the
But
first movie, he it seems like he loves Ron.
yeah,
Yeah.
but like in this one, he tells him that he wants to touch his cock, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah. I like that. I think they expand more on Steve Carell's character. I was afraid it was gonna be his twin or some shit. At the funeral,
Oh,
I was
really?
like, oh god, oh my god, they're gonna pull out like his twin or something, and he's like, just fucked up in a different way. But no, it was just straight up him. It was even more stupid.
It would have been cool if he had a twin and he was absolutely normal, and that was off-putting to the guys. They're like, we don't like this guy.
Yeah, I mean that's
like
what I was expecting that. I was expecting like just his twin, but his twin is kind of like I don't know. He's a normal guy, but he had learned to live with the fact that the other guy wears like Peter Bread slippers or something.
Mm.
But no, it was just he wasn't dead. Um, yeah.
I wake up screaming in terror.
This is when he's blind.
And I think I'm dead. Every day? Yes, every day. Then I begin.
Oh, I should slow that down.
The copyright
what's
gurus.
called the Great Adventure. Making breakfast. I've eaten everything from nails to drink coasters. One time I bit hard into a marble ashtray, thinking it was a savory waffle. I wanted that waffle so bad.
This is hilarious to me.
Completely shattered my teeth. Couldn't you tell the ashtray wasn't hot like a waffle? No, I couldn't. Because I'm blind. I'm not blind 23 hours a day or 22 hours a day.
I don't know why
I'm
this
blind
cracks
the
me up.
whole goddamn time. Do you have any idea what it's like to drink a half a bottle of ketchup, thinking it was a bottle of 1946 Chateau Neuf de Pape? I even decanted it. If you drank half a bottle of that, that's like. It's like 9 or 10 gulps.
His responses are gold.
Couldn't tell that was ketchup? Did I stutter? I'm blind.
Yeah, that's enough of that. But yeah,
I love Paul Rudd.
oh, I love Paul Rudd in this movie. It's one of my his best roles. Even though, like, in the second one, they have him, like, photographing kittens and stuff, and he's being all, like, creepy sexual about it. Like, I didn't find that all very amusing, but...
No, that wasn't... Like, when they go and get him, that's not the funniest, but he's better once they've moved away from that.
I prefer the second one overall. Like, I think
Yeah.
it lands more for me. And I like Paul Rudd. I like all the other characters in the first movie as well. It's not that, like, they're bad in the second one, it's just...
I feel like the comedy style is more like they refined it a little more in the second one. Like, it's still the same overall comedy style, right? It's got the same kind of comedic timing and what have you. But I feel like they polished it a bit more.
What'd you think of Harrison Ford's cameo?
I don't know, lazy, I guess.
Yeah, it's like he's just there.
He's just there. It's just kind of like, hey, Harrison Ford, can you come along? He's like, all right. It's not like Will Smith's cameo. I feel is more. He's more into it.
Jim Carrey, Canadian news team.
Well, he's having the time of his life, right?
And Marianne Cotillard, whatever how you say that name.
Marion Cotillard. She's great.
She plays the Quebec newscaster or something.
Yeah, I mean, even Kirsten Dunst up on the bloody roof she's having fun. Yeah.
By the way, she's the only celebrity I've ever met.
Oh, really?
Like like movie star, I guess, you know.
She seems
that's
nice.
my life.
John C. Reilly, which is not someone I particularly fond of, but I like John C. Reilly in Kong Skull Island for some reason.
Oh, John C. Reilly is the dead general. General Lee?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
My God.
That's good.
That fight actually took the absurdity of the first movie and doubled it pretty much. It's just you have ghosts and shit. Fucking
Kirsten Dunst is in the second season of Fargo, and she's absolutely great. Okay, so I enjoy the fact that all of the characters are all kind of ridiculous to a certain point, but none of them get as stupid or as exaggerated as our four protagonists, right? Yeah. Like our main crew, they're like just idiots. And I suppose it kind of resembles what we do in the Shadows in that sense, because what we do in the Shadows, we follow our group of vampires, which are complete morons. And they do evolve in a world where everyone else is kind of stupid or a bit off, but not as much as them. And this is the same thing. Our four anchor men are just, I didn't like the fact that the producer, what was she called? Linda Jackson?
Linda Jackson, yeah. Megan Good is the actor's name.
Okay, yeah, I didn't like the fact that her character was somehow sexually attracted, or just like attracted, generally speaking, to Ron Burgundy.
I think the whole thing with Veronica Corningstone and in this case Linda Jackson, the whole being drawn to the alpha male, musky, big mustache, old school kind of 70s, early 80s dude was a trope in movies and TV.
Okay, and so
Where
they're
it's
making
like
fun of that kind of.
yeah, I mean, look at William Shatner in Trek. It's like every woman's got to like fucking cream over him. Like, why is that? It's like they and very, sometimes Spock gets a little something and but,
Yeah, well, it turns out that in real life, fans, female Star Trek fans, were actually fantasizing more about Spock than Kirk, right?
Yeah, Kirk's too much of a pretty boy.
No, but I don't know how to put this, but it kind of felt like
they can't resist him, but it's illogical. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, but and in that sense, it felt like it was written more as a fantasy from the guy who wrote, like more as like Will Ferrell or this other person that wrote the movie. It kind of felt like, oh, they would so much enjoy like the hot, strong woman to all of a sudden be attracted to them, even if they're jerks, and so they put that in the movie. It kind of felt like that, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
It's hard to describe, but if you get what I'm saying, then maybe someone in the audience will as well.
It's true that there was one. I didn't watch the whole movie, but I think it's called The Wrong Missy. It's with David Spade. I had to stop watching it. It was terrible. Okay. It got, and this is why I stopped watching it. And this is nothing to say about like an unattractive dude can't get an attractive woman.
Oh, this year.
I'm not talking about like ugly dude can't get a hot model type woman. But it comes to a scene where he hooks up with this super, super beautiful woman who like goes for him right away, and there's no kind of like, there's no work put into like how they just have a conversation. It's like a lot of movies have the guy have a conversation with the girl, and then the girl's like way too hot to be sleeping with him right away. And I know it can happen. Of course it can happen. And women aren't, I'm not saying like that's, I'm not trying to say beautiful women are superficial and they will only, but I mean, statistically attractive people like to have sex with people in their league, I guess you could say. And they do this thing where it's like a man writes a movie where he's fantasizing about how a girl's going to fall in love with him, but he's not really putting the work in, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like you get like an independent movie where it's written, directed, and starring the same guy, right? It's all this, and he will write himself into scenes where hot babes, are attracted to him, and it's like you're writing this because it's like it's a fantasy of yours more than anything else.
It's like if Commander Riker took a crack at script writing. He'd just write his holodeck fantasies, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Anyway, that's kind of how I felt. So, of course, the person writing the movie here is co-writing the movie is Will Ferrell. And I don't know if this comes from him or if this comes from the co-writer, but it kind of felt like they were just, they had like this, I suppose, fantasy of because it seems completely out of character with the character that they created too.
Yeah.
What did she call Megan Good? You say?
Yeah.
She's playing a character, that in no way would be interested by Wolf, like Ron Burgundy.
Yeah, I totally
get that. It makes no sense.
Yeah, it's
because I mean, there's even the whole thing with you can't stop saying black. Like I don't know, they're not compatible. I find in any way, and like even if you were to take a looks out of it, because he looks fucking ridiculous, but maybe at the time he looked alright. I guess
this is kind of a big reason why I prefer the first one over the second one, because the chemistry between him and Christina Applegate was a little bit, it made more sense.
Well, they put more work into the relationship.
Yeah. And in this one, Linda Jackson, the character of Linda Jackson, is so like tough and doesn't take shit that it's a little odd that she takes so much shit from him. And it gets to a point where they're literally he's at a dinner at her family's house, and he's saying all of this like super racist shit.
I would have taken that scene out entirely. See what I mean? I would have taken his relationship with her out and that scene out completely.
You know what could have been almost like better if they approached it in a way where it wasn't an issue for him. Like, he literally didn't see color. Like, he didn't make anything of it. But his friends were like the ignorant kind of like, hey, you're making jokes about it, and he's like, oh well, I don't know what you mean. Like, you know what I mean? He played it straight.
Yeah,
like,
he's completely oblivious to like the ethnic differences.
I find that I find the reactions from the family in that scene almost like kind of real. Like, they're actually really like, what the fuck is this guy saying? Like, what the fuck did you just say?
That would have been hilarious if they didn't tell them they were filming this scene. There's like, oh, I'm bringing Will Ferrell to dinner tonight, and he comes up. It's just Will Ferrell, and he's saying this shit. And they're like, what the fuck? Yeah.
The second movie also deals with the fact that news started to change in the 80s. It started to become more like action news, and it was like it was the first time they actually started infotainment. Like, they started covering police chases, and that got really tired really quick back in the day, because what would happen is the cops would chase a dude for like 15, 20 minutes, and they would interrupt like somebody's soap opera or something to watch a car chase. And really? people were like, you gotta stop doing this. This wasn't everywhere. It was just like certain affiliates and whatnot. But I remember American news was obsessed, and then of course O.J. Simpson happened, and then that famous car chase, which everybody watched live.
Well, this movie is a reference to that. They talk about the white Bronco, right?
Yeah. I don't know if they're ever going to do a third one, but
maybe in 10 years. Maybe in 9 years.
So so it'd be 1987 if they did one now. So 10 years from now, 1997, say. But they had an idea for the third one where it might be in the 90s, and they would cover the Gulf War.
Okay.
Or something like that. But I would wait and try to set it in the late 90s, because the early 90s were a really crazy time that I don't think they should be like kind of poking fun at. It's like if you set the first movie in the 60s instead of the 70s and made jokes about like the tensions at that time.
You do realize they might just go the prequel route and do like Ron Burgundy before he became Ron Burgundy. Yeah, well, that reaction. That
Andy Samberg is the young Ron Burgundy.
The more you hate it, the more that's what Hollywood will go for.
Also starring Rob Schneider as a hot dog.
God damn it.
By the way,
I think I prefer the second one. I do it as longer, but Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah, he's crazy. I'm not sure if you're aware. Excuse me, and you probably won't find them funny, but there are about 6 or 7 YouTube videos of Ron Burgundy's stand-up from like last year or the year before. I don't know.
Ron Burgundy's stand-up?
See, Will Ferrell is crazy. He just on the fly decided to go on every single talk show for a week or a week and a half or something as Ron Burgundy and do these awful stand-up sets. Like, I mean, fucking awful, but it's hilarious. You probably won't find them funny, but there's one particular one where it's like, it's meant to be like, I'm going to stand out here and fuck with you people. And it's just, I don't know. I think he's brilliant.
He's such an odd person, Will Ferrell. Maybe he's got this kind of humor that I just don't understand. It just seems like he stands there and shouts things. To me, he's just shouting things all the time, right? Even like in all of his movies.
Have you seen Talladega Nights?
I haven't. That's in my list. That's on my Netflix list. I wanted to watch that, but then I thought, no, I need to catch up on my Anchorman. So then yesterday I wound up watching both. But Talladega Nights is.
Have you seen Eurovision?
I haven't seen that yet. See, Gary and Sohail have been telling me to watch this. They said it was worth it. But then we ended up watching Snatch last night, which I think is a better option.
I've never seen Snatch.
You've never seen Snatch? I like the
Well,
gentleman better.
the
Controversial
movie,
opinion,
the
but-
movie. I mean, you know.
Oh, have you seen the show?
Oh no, I was making a joke about something else. No, I didn't even know there was a show.
Oh my goodness! I thought I got scared all of a sudden. They made a show about Snatch with like Rupert Grint a couple years ago. It was cancelled.
I'm not familiar with that actor.
Yes, you are. Bloody
Robert who?
Rupert Grint.
Rupert Grint.
Yeah,
Oh.
Harry Potter. Well, not Harry, but Ron.
Oh, Ron. Yeah. That was on Crave. Actually, probably still is.
Okay. Yeah, no, I haven't seen Eurovision. Is that good? I like that Will Ferrell's movies have like never-ending titles, though.
Here's the thing.
Eurovision Song Contest, The Story of Fire Saga.
Here's why I think you might like Eurovision a little more than me. Because I think it's one of Will Ferrell's lesser funny roles, but it's a really good role. It's a really good role. It has a lot of there's a lot of heart to it. Him and his Rachel McAdams is also like, two of them are like these really sweet characters. And Pierce Brosnan plays his dad, and Pierce Brosnan sucks at trying to do an Icelandic accent. And it's actually filmed in Iceland, and it there's a lot of Icelandic actual people in the movie. And but when the American actors are trying to do it, it sounds kind of off, especially Pierce Brosnan. But he's really
like
good
him.
in the movie. He's really
He's
good.
not English though, isn't he?
He's Irish.
Oh, he's Irish.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've in different interviews. In different interviews, you'll sometimes hear an Irish twang, and you'll sometimes hear a more British twang. That's kind of like Gillian Anderson alternates. When she's in England, she will eventually mutate into that accent, and when she's in America, she doesn't do the accent. Well, she speaks like the people around her.
I guess I can kind of relate. Like my accent is all over the place. It makes no sense. But when I go back to New Zealand and spend 3 weeks, by the end of it, I sound more like my dad, more like my cousins, and you know, I sound more New Zealand than what I sound when I'm here. Especially when I'm doing videos. When I'm doing videos, I don't know why I seem to go towards like a more American normalized accent. Maybe just I don't know. Maybe it's so people have an easier time understanding or something.
Yeah. There's an actor in Anchorman 2 called Joshua Lawson. He's the Australian guy.
Oh, yeah.
At first, you know what I thought was happening? I thought he was a regular, an American dude doing a really, really bad Australian accent. When in fact, no, he is actually from Australia. But he's actually doing an exaggerated version of his own accent. He played Crocodile. He played Paul Hogan in a biopic. You know, the guy who played Crocodile Dundee. So yeah, we said pretty much everything we could say about Anchorman 1 and 2.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about these movies. Like, if someone wants to slap them on one day, I won't complain about it. I won't fight them for it. It's just that I don't find them, I suppose, as hilarious as... Because these... I mean, a lot of people refer to them as just absolutely hilarious, right?
Mm.
And maybe it's because I'm not that big of a fan of Will Ferrell.
I'm blind.
I enjoyed the randomness of him. Like I was watching this YouTube video where they were saying like it was graduation or something, and they have Will Ferrell come on, do like they have these motivational speeches by famous people or successful people, and instead of doing that, he just sings. He just hums Star Trek: The Original Series theme. He but the end theme, the end credits, he just hums the entire end credit theme for like 2 or 3 minutes or whatever it is, instead of saying anything. I'm like, this guy is just so random. Okay, so they have in Anchorman 2, they have a musical sequence where they sing about how the world is big. And then they sing about like if they were gay for a day. The moment they snap into the singing, you can completely tell that it's pre-recorded, and the audio is it's very well synced with his lips. It's just that you can clearly hear that it's a studio recording. It's no longer just
Yeah.
audio from the movie or something. And that it was kind of I was kind of disappointed that like a movie I suppose of this caliber.
The scene from
like that.
the scene from the first movie where they all sing "Afternoon Delight" is one of the most uplifting moments in comedy history. Whenever that scene starts happening, I always sing right along with it if I'm alone, if people are around. Thinking of you, working up my appetite, looking for you. Like I sing along with them, and it's like perfect harmony because all the guys are like, it's like a little barbershop quartet thing.
Yeah, they're doing the doo-wop or whatever it is.
Yeah. But yeah, it's that's a good song, "Afternoon Delight," but their version of it is gold, Jerry Gold.
Anchorman 1 and 2, I would give them both probably a no out of 10.
I would give the first one a yes and the second one a no, because the second one doesn't have great repeat value. It has a couple of really great scenes, like the blind scene and all that, but I still love most of the first one.
Okay.
So, yeah.
In my very sophisticated, very professional rating scale, the first one gets 59 out of 100, and the second one gets 60. If that has any value to you. So
that works.
It gives them both as like it puts them both as 6 out of 10 on the IMDb.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, folks, and until next time, stay frosty.